Surprisingly, Pakistani craftsmen can apply the mortise and tenon woodworking technique to axle shaft repairs. It's like taking a carpenter's skill and leaving them nothing to do. Yet, even a torn rear axle shaft can be restored for regular use within the rear axle through a series of seemingly magical steps. Today, let's explore how the mortise and tenon structure is used on an axle shaft. The entire fractured surface must be cut off for a severely torn shaft. Although this reduces a significant portion of its length, this can later be compensated by using a matching axle extension. Once the splicing plan is decided, the craftsman's first task is to cut and prepare the flange ends fracture, ensuring better conditions for the upcoming connection. A drill creates holes at its center to ensure the flange shaft rod is concentric during the splice. These holes are crucial to maintaining alignment during assembly. The flange end is not yet finished after expanding the hole with a giant twist drill. To implement the mortise and tenon structure at the joint, the craftsman first welds square steel onto the back of the flange, using it to fix the cutter head in place. This clears space for securing a milling cutter, allowing the lathe to act as a milling machine. The craftsman then mills a horizontal groove to fit the mortise created by the woodworker's riveting technique to interlock the shaft rod. Once the groove depth meets the splicing requirements, the flange plate has essentially been crafted into a mortise and tenon structure. Although the fracture span isn't as significant for the similarly torn splined end of the shaft rod, achieving the best splicing effect still requires sacrificing some shaft length to provide a flat surface for the rigid connection. Although the repair shop lacks a dedicated cutting tool, the craftsman skillfully uses a threading tool, completing the entire process fluidly and without a hitch. Since the cut-in surface is tapered, the craftsman must modify it into a flat surface. After confirming the accuracy, they use a marker to draw taper lines on the shaft side, preparing for a V-shaped step joint. Once the V-shaped interface is cut to the correct angle, the craftsman selects a rusty round steel bar to extend the missing part of the shaft rod. This makes up for the length lost in the cutting and allows the groove to be riveted without interfering with the overall axle length. The craftsman measures and compares the flange end's fixed hole diameter with the protruding column to ensure a seamless joint. Since the chosen round steel bar has a larger diameter, it's continuously cut down to match the shaft rod's diameter. Though this machining seems straightforward, it plays a crucial role in fitting the subsequent riveting work. The craftsman trims the round steel with a fine-tuned threading tool to fit the groove width. Only this way can the final mortise and tenon connection be achieved. The reserved flat surface thickness determines whether the groove and round steel will fit snugly. After finishing the other side's replica, the splined end of the shaft rod is shaped into a concave V-notch. The tail end of the round steel still needs to be cut to match the V-notch's angle, allowing the V-shaped interface to fit seamlessly. The next step is to insert the round steel into the shaft's concave surface for pre-assembly. The craftsman can rivet it to the flange plate with no axial misalignment. Since precision is crucial, a hammer is used to secure the connection and firmly prevent gaps within the hole. To check the alignment of the three-part splice, the craftsman applies pressure with a tailstock to perform a simple assembly and test. During the craftsman's rotation test, all remaining gaps are filled with welding rods until the riveted gaps are completely sealed. However, welding often leaves raised scars, so the protruding parts are trimmed down with a lathe cutter to match the surrounding shaft diameter. This restores the axle shaft's original diameter and enhances its overall appearance. The riveted axle shaft is now ready for regular use. What do you think of the Pakistani craftsman's skill?